All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into the LPot community's Being Alone series.
Yeah.
We've spent some time now, really exploring the benefits of solitude itself.
Mm-hmm.
That time that you spend by yourself and kind of just recharging. And now we're taking it a step further
Yeah.
and looking at how that intentionality around being alone can actually empower you to build more meaningful connections, like connections with other people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And how to build connections that really resonate with you
Exactly.
and that you really want in your life.
Yeah. So it's really about taking all the things that we've learned about the value of being alone and how can we use that to create fulfilling relationships.
Yeah, and you've shared some great thoughts and materials around this, so we're gonna dig into that today.
Let's do it.
So the first thing that really stood out to me was this idea of really defining for yourself what a meaningful connection even is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just about, you know, filling a room with people,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's about something deeper.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's about quality over quantity. And it's really about understanding what qualities in relationships make you feel valued and supported.
Okay.
So thinking back on relationships you've had in the past, what are the things that made you feel good? What are the things that maybe didn't feel so good?
Right.
And thinking about those things and maybe even journaling about them can be really helpful to understand what you're really looking for.
That's so interesting because once you have that clarity, it must make setting boundaries so much easier, right?
Absolutely, because if you know what you need and you know what you don't need, you can set boundaries to protect yourself and your energy.
Yeah, and that's been a really big theme, I think, throughout our exploration of this Being Alone series is how to be intentional
Yes.
with your energy and your time.
Being intentional is so important.
Yeah.
Um, Now, another thing that seems to be a really powerful way to find those meaningful connections is through shared passions.
Yeah. So if you think about the things that you love doing, you're going to naturally connect with other people who also love doing those things.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's just so much easier to connect with people when you have something in common.
Right.
And it makes the whole process of getting to know somebody a lot more natural and enjoyable.
Yeah, it kind of removes that awkward initial phase
Totally.
where you're trying to figure out what you have in common.
And it can be anything. You know, it could be a local hiking group, a book club, an online gaming community, whatever you're into.
Yeah, it's built in. You already have that common ground.
Exactly. And have you found that to be true in your own life?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It just makes things so much easier and more fun.
I totally agree.
And I think that leads really well into this idea of focusing on quality over quantity when it comes to your close relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
It's better to have a few really deep and supportive relationships than a ton of superficial ones.
Exactly. It's like those really close friends that you can call at 2 a.m. if you need to.
Those are the relationships that really matter.
And then connecting that back to our theme, the time and energy that you free up by being intentional about being alone.
Mm-hmm.
You can then direct that towards nurturing those few really important relationships.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And that can lead to a much more fulfilling social life overall.
And of course, in today's world, we have so much technology at our fingertips.
So true.
That can really help us to maintain those quality connections, especially when we also, value our alone time.
Yeah, it's all about using technology intentionally.
Right.
So, if you don't want to go out and see people every night, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can just have a quick video chat with a friend or participate in an online discussion group.
Right. Or even just texting or emailing. There's so many ways to stay connected now without having to actually be physically present.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can be really helpful for people who need a lot of alone time.
Yeah. Which brings us kind of full circle back to boundaries.
Because it's not just about who you connect with.
Yeah.
But it's also about how and when you connect with them.
Totally. And learning to say no is a really important part of that.
Yeah.
Because not every invitation or request is something that you have to say yes to.
Right. It's about protecting your time and your energy.
And making sure that you're only saying yes to things that you actually want to do and that are going to bring you joy.
Yeah. Because I think that's something we've also touched on in this Being Alone series is recognizing that not every connection is a healthy connection.
Absolutely.
And so setting boundaries with people and learning to say no politely or to, limit interactions that drain you.
Yeah.
That's a really important skill to develop.
It is, and it's essential for maintaining your own well-being.
So it really sounds like, the ability to be alone and to be content in your own company actually gives you the power to be much more discerning about the connections that you build.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. Because when you're comfortable being alone, You're not as likely to settle for relationships that aren't fulfilling.
You don't need them just to fill the space.
Exactly. You can be more selective, and you can choose to spend your time with people who really light you up.
Yeah, I love that.
And who make you feel good.
Well, this deep dive has been really fascinating. I think it's really illuminated how being alone can be a springboard for creating a richer, more fulfilling social world. So we encourage everyone listening to think about what resonated with you the most from this conversation. Maybe it was, the importance of defining your needs in a relationship, or setting boundaries, or maybe it was something else entirely. But whatever it was, take some time to reflect on it and see how you can apply it to your own life. It's all about crafting a social landscape that truly supports your well-being.
And we'll continue to explore these ideas and more in our Being Alone series.
Okay, sounds great. All right, well, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.